$50,000 buys you an awful lot in today's new car market. You can get an entry-level German luxury car, a genuinely fast hot hatch, or if you look a little bit closer to home, almost 2 tonnes worth of top shelf Australian metal. Now, if it's the latter category that appeals to you most, then these two cars should be front and centre. The Holden Calais V V8, and for the final time, the Ford G6E Turbo. In this test we have the two flagship locally built offerings from Holden and Ford. In the blue corner is the updated G6E Turbo. It's $10,000 cheaper than before, priced from $46,550, fitted with a turbocharged 6-cylinder engine producing 270 kilowatts. Now, looking in the Falcon, it's a very familiar place from before. The biggest differences being this new infotainment system, but also new graphics here in the instrument cluster. The Calais V V8 comes in at almost $7,500 more than the Ford, priced at $53,990. Power comes courtesy of a 6-litre naturally aspirated V8 producing 260 kilowatts in automatic guise. But step inside the Calais and you can instantly see what that extra money gets you. The fit and finish of the cabin is decidedly more premium, and its technology is leaps and bounds ahead of the Ford. Out on the road too, there's a decidedly big difference in the way these two vehicles tackle the luxury brief. It's the engine that shines most in the G6E. It's smooth and lazy and linear when you want it to be, but open up the taps and there's plenty of welly. The turbocharger kicking in, and from about 4,000 RPM it just revs all the way to its 6,000 RPM redline. It's a really impressive engine in that it's not highly strung, but when you want it to be, it packs plenty of power. Now, elsewhere, the G6E carries over the Falcon's well-established handling characteristics. The turning's got a nice sharpness to it, especially on initial turn-in, and for a large car, it's fairly agile when you want it to be. It's not quite as refined or cosseting in terms of its ride over bumps as the Calais, but it's still a very nice place to be. Where the G6E falls short of the mark as a luxury car is just in its general refinement. There's a lot of road noise entering the cabin. Now, the steering is very sharp off centre, but at low speeds it's actually quite heavy. And the other criticism is that there's a lot of feedback coming through the wheel all the time, especially with the wheel at the straight ahead and going over some rough surfaces. You seem to get all the interference coming back through the steering wheel. There are other issues as well. The driver's seat sits too high and the steering wheel too low. The passenger seat misses out on electric adjustment, and the rear headrests are moulded, sacrificing comfort on long trips. The same drawbacks can't be said for the Calais V. Out on the road as well, the Calais feels so much more refined than the G6E Turbo, both in terms of its driving characteristics and its overall hushedness on the road. It really lives up to that big country, big car ethos that sort of underpins Holden's sales in Australia for so long. And part of that is because of the 6-litre V8 fitted to this car. It's a really nice, lazy and linear powertrain paired with a really intuitive 6-speed automatic gearbox. The other thing that's really pleasing about the Calais is its overall driving characteristics. It's got lovely steering, probably not as sharp as the G6E on initial turn-in, but it weighs up adequately through corners. It's excellent over bumps. Of these two cars, it's comfortably the more cosseting ride and better overall handling. And just in general, it's so quiet and refined on the road. There's very little wind noise, very little road noise, just moses along comfortably and feels really nice on the road. Despite costing much more, the Holden comprehensively trumps its opponent in specification. Standalone features include an electric park brake, head-up display, blind spot monitoring and a self-parking function. Now, all those creature comforts sound really good on paper, and to be honest, in the car they really enhance the driving experience. Given that this thing is supposed to be a luxury car, it's the Calais that really lives up to the tag and feels the way that it should out on the road. Now, the Calais isn't perfect though. It's got some of the common bugbears that have been found in Holdens in recent years, in that it's got, big A-pillars that make vision front and rear a little bit hard. It's also not the most efficient car out on the road. The official claim is 11.7 litres per 100 kilometres. We've achieved about 11 in a mix of driving, but if you're sort of
inclined to drive a bit enthusiastically at times, you'll easily see more than the claim.
Its 495 litre boot is some 40 litres smaller than the Falcon, and it misses out on split folding seats. However, the seats are more comfortable all round, there's more space, and the rear headrests are adjustable. Factors which all cast a negative light on the Ford. Now granted, the Holden is several $1,000s more than the Ford, but when it comes to the crunch, it's superior in almost every aspect. Better refinement, better fit and finish, and more standard safety technology. For us, it was the vehicle we couldn't look past.